Now, I want to get to one member question, and then I'll address anything else in our question box. And that is, what are your thoughts on the SEC's latest legal action against Binance? Well, this question came in about 3 times yesterday, and then of course this morning, the SEC announced it was suing Coinbase. In fact, I'm kind of curious what has happened to Coinbase's price this morning. In fact, let's just take a look and see. Yeah, it slipped a well, but it's already rallying back up, down 12% this morning on the news that the SEC is going to sue Coinbase in addition to Binance. Okay, so the SEC is suing Binance. Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Over 40%, as of last month, over 40% of all crypto trades occurred on Binance. Okay, I mean, Binance is a juggernaut. It's a global powerhouse, and they have a lot of clout. So the SEC has picked on a very, very large offshore corporation here in terms of Binance. They've accused Binance of commingling customer funds. They've accused them of engaging in wash trading, where basically they buy something and then they immediately resell it, and then that kind of inflates volume levels, and so they're accusing them of this. They're accusing them, as I mentioned, of commingling funds. A lot of this stuff is not super clear. What's interesting is the SEC has asked a federal judge to freeze Binance's assets, okay, and put them in receivership. This is pretty radical. We don't expect this is going to happen because it's a very big ask. But it shows you how aggressive the SEC has become towards crypto. Incredibly, I mean, it's incredible how aggressive Gary Gensler has been at the SEC towards crypto. Now, here's the deal. Many other countries have already figured this out, because there's many other countries that are already well beyond where the United States is. The United States is still trying to figure out what to do. They don't even know how to define these things. Okay, and many people say, well, are they not smart enough? Do they not understand how? Other countries have already moved on from this. They've already got it figured out. You know, they've already got tax laws put in place. It's very clear. There's clarity. A lot of these companies are operating just fine in other countries because they already got clear rules, regulatory clarity. Okay, here in the United States, these companies have no idea what the rules are. Binance has been in talks with the SEC now for, I don't know how many months, maybe even years. It probably has been years, trying to get a negotiation. Okay, so that's the last thing we knew. Now the SEC has stopped negotiating with Binance and is now suing them. Okay, Binance is like, look, we just want to broker a deal with these people. Coinbase was doing the same thing. They have been working with the SEC, saying, okay, you know, we understand that you want some. What are your regulatory rules? I mean, what are the rules here? We want to be inside the rules. Well, the SEC not issuing any kind of rules. Instead, they just sue Coinbase. Okay, they issued them a Wells notice a while back. We had told you about that. That was a sign they were getting ready to sue them, and now they've done it. So none of this should be a surprise. We're not surprised they sued Binance. They were issuing subpoenas to them back in 2020. There's already a big DOJ investigation into Binance, trying to detect whether they're taking money laundering seriously. The CFTC is also, scrutinizing Binance, claiming that it's breaking derivatives trading rules. I mean, so, we already know that Binance is in the crosshairs, and Coinbase we already knew was in. So none of this is new. It's just the fact that the SEC is really biting down hard. Now, are they going to get anything out of this? Are they really going to get anything out of it? I mean, remember, Binance is an offshore controlled company. I mean, as far as how they're going to be able to hold these people to account, I have no idea. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that the SEC is run by who? Gary Gensler. But who is it ultimately run by? Well, ultimately, it answers to President Biden. Okay, so you have to remember that Biden could call off the dogs at any time. Okay, so you got to remember that. He could call this off anytime. He could, you know what he could do? He could fire Gary Gensler. He could say, "You doing a terrible job at the SEC." You know, like you get all these frauds going on, and you're attacking a burgeoning industry. You know. Now, by the way, I'm no friend of the cryptocurrency exchanges. In fact, if there's any lesson from all of this, it's to get your crypto off the exchanges and into cold storage. They're coming after the exchanges, right? That's what they're doing. They're coming after these exchanges. They roughed up Kraken. Force them to shut down their staking stuff that they were doing. They're roughing up Coinbase. They're suing Bittrex. They're roughing up Binance. I mean, they're going after the exchanges. Now, I'm no friend of the exchanges. I don't have any vested interest to see the exchanges survive. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care what the name of the exchanges are, who owns them. It doesn't matter to me at all. But the point is that the SEC is not laying down rules. They're just like literally suing everybody. But they're not really making it very clear what they're saying. And they don't even, and then of course they have the Ripple lawsuit. Okay, here's my point, is that, as I've said for a long time, the SEC is not the ultimate decider. Okay, they're not the ultimate decider. The SEC is really dependent upon who's running it. And they're also greatly, whoever's running it is dependent upon who's president. Okay, so the point is that we are, as long as Gary Gensler is sitting there at the head of the SEC, the only way to stop him is through a court order where the courts just shut him down and say, look, you're just, this isn't even working. Or if the Congress finally gets off of its duff and creates some rules around this stuff, like every other, advanced economy in the world has already, okay? Because of our deadlocked Congress, they can't get anything done because they're all arguing about pronouns, and they're all arguing about, transsexual. I mean, they're all just like up in arms trying to play culture wars. They need to actually make rules on real things, like real things, And so, but they can't because they're all pandering to their base. So we have got to get some real, rules put in place in Washington. They have to attack this in a way that makes sense. And they're running these crypto industries out of the country into other countries, and other countries are happy. They're happy to have all of this innovative technology coming to their countries. The United States is scared to death of crypto. It has been from the day one because they have the greatest to lose. They have the greatest. They stand to lose the most. Right? The U.S. dollar. Remember, these things are cryptocurrencies. Right? So it explains the United States angst over this topic, right? So, Malaysia or maybe even Taiwan, these countries aren't worried about, protecting their precious currency above everything else, the way the United States dollar is, because it has the most to lose. So the United States has made some really dumb moves here when it comes to crypto. It has not provided regulatory clarity whatsoever, and the courts can stop the SEC, and the Congress can stop the SEC, and the president can stop the SEC. So don't think that this is a boat has sailed. The SEC has decided. No, the SEC can change its mind tomorrow, and it all depends on who's running it. Right? It's the CFTC has had its hands off of this stuff. It's taken a much more hands-off approach and said let's just see how this thing works. SEC has gone nuts. So, so if nobody stops the SEC, if they just keep going, then this could get worse and worse and worse. But I suspect that there's enough people upset about this that you're going to see it translate, perhaps even in the upcoming presidential election. So, we'll just have to see. But the rules seem very jacked up right now when it comes to the whole crypto space. And many of them aren't even transparent. We don't even really know what the rules are. So the point is that if you have cryptos on the exchanges, if you're holding your money on Binance or you're holding your cryptos on Coinbase, I'm not saying that they're not safe. I'm not saying that they're playing games with your money and, you're going to lose your money. But I'm saying that these exchanges are under such scrutiny by the regulators that I don't know what could happen. I just don't know. So this is why we've always said, don't keep your cryptos on the exchanges. when you have to use the exchange, or you might have to use some sort of exchange to get the crypto. But once you get it, take it off and put it in cold storage. Keep it offline. Keep it off of the exchanges. Remember, somebody said, well, I got to put the money on the exchange so I can stake. Remember, we've taught you that you can actually put your crypto in cold storage and then stake from your cold storage, right? And if you're not familiar with that, be sure to watch our staking video where we talk all about how that works. So, you don't have to keep your money or your crypto on the exchanges just to get staking rewards. You can take those and put them in your hardware wallet in cold storage and still earn your staking rewards. So don't think that you have to keep them there.